Today, we're going to talk about a work ethic that attracts favor and opportunity. Welcome to Tampa, Florida, where it's sunny in the sunshine state. And I'm in a great mood today. As long as it doesn't rain, I'm fixing to go golfing later on today. So that always makes me happy. And what also makes me happy is my new book is out, Level Up Your Money, Biblical Principles to Financial Success. Today on the program, we're going to talk about chapter 2 in the book. And one of the principles in the Bible about financial success is having a very strong work ethic, which the Bible uses this term diligence quite a bit. And we're going to talk about that on today's program. If you could, in the comments, let me know where you're watching from and if you can hear me loud and clear. This is just our second live stream here in our new studio, my kitchen. We're getting things set up around here, folks. I recently moved, so the podcast setup isn't quite to where we're going to get it to, but it's working for it now. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. I like when things are black and white, very, very clear. So if we're lazy, aka doom scrolling on social media, not working, not serving somebody, and that laziness is compounded over time, the result is going to be poverty. On the flip side, diligent hands bring wealth. So if we are working with an intensity and a focus on the right income producing activities, solving the right problems for people, customers, then the result is that those diligent hands bring wealth. So let me ask you, my friend, which of these two characteristics describe your life? Are you lazy hands or diligent hands? I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but when we're scrolling aimlessly through social media, they call it the death scroll. You're just scrolling, and then you start laughing because you saw a really funny video, and then you scroll some more. You got some duds, and then you see another funny one or whatever interests you. I play golf, so I watch a lot of golf content. I mean, just scrolling. In my definition, that would be having lazy hands. Your hand or your thumb or your finger, whatever one you're using, is just, I guess it's this finger here, pointer finger. Scroll. That's a lazy hand. Scroll. Lazy hand. Now, the diligent hand is when we're using our hands to produce income, which is usually the result of us serving somebody. Right? You mow someone's grass, they pay you money. You put in mulch for somebody, they pay you money. Or you solve another problem. I was just listening to a podcast recently from Ken Coleman, who interviewed Jimmy John, who makes the sandwiches. So Jimmy John's story of work ethic was absolutely crazy. For about 20 years, he worked his absolute butt off making sandwiches, and then ultimately training others to replicate that system and process that they have at Jimmy John's of clean bathrooms and good sandwiches and everything like that. And I think I've had a Jimmy John sandwich before, but that's neither here nor there. I'm making a point. Lazy hands lead to poverty. Diligent hands lead to wealth. I'm getting this information from my new book, Level Up Your Money, Biblical Principles for Financial Success. We talked on yesterday's program about principle number 1, that if you want to have success financially according to the Bible principles, we need to track our money and budget. So basically set a plan for what we're going to do with our money for the upcoming weeks, and then track how that actually went. In the second chapter, and these things build on each other in the book, the second chapter, we're talking about having a strong work ethic. So essentially going out there and maximizing our earning potential. And there's so many opportunities in today's day and age to make money out there. 2 Thessalonians 3:10 says, if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. So laziness is bad. It's very, very destructive. In the Bible, they talk about the ant. So ants, they're so small, right? If you've ever seen an ant, they're much smaller than us human beings. Yet they have this diligence about them that they go and they gather their food in the summer. So they're working hard, preparing for the winter. And we can learn from that. There's a saying in Ohio where I grew up, to make hay while the sun shines. To when it's sunny outside, get out there and get working. Right? There's windows of time where there's great opportunity to earn money. Get after it. Get after it. Okay, I got 4 points. Let me get right into my notes here before I get off script. I got 4 main points from chapter 2. And again, I'm reading out of my new book, Level Up Your Money, Biblical Principles for Financial Success. It's available on Amazon. They ship it to you within about 2 days. And what's cool is on the very back page of the book, it shows you the date your book was printed and what city it was printed in. So this one here was printed in Orlando, Florida on July 25th. So Amazon has publishing warehouses all across the world. And when you order your book on Amazon, they'll print it what they call on demand. So they don't print like 100,000 copies and then when you order them, they ship it out. They get your order, then they print it on demand, and then they ship it to you. So you get like a real fresh book. And I like the smell. Ooh. The smell of fresh paper. It smells like the woods. If you want that smell, get you a copy of Level Up Your Money. It smells real good. Fresh paper. Okay, the 4 things I talk about in chapter 2 is number 1, time management. So I've already alluded to identifying the distractions of what can take away our time. One big distraction for me that I am trying to eliminate from my life is sports, watching other people play sports. So one of my friends that I play golf with, this fella, he's very wealthy. And thanks for the comment there, Marvin, on LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in, my boy Marv. Old Wiscoat up there in Wisconsin, Marvin Joels. And I believe he's in Mr. Producer's network here. We got a whole bunch of podcasters out there in different industries that Mr. Producer takes care of. He's always talking about old Marv. So back to my point with time management, identifying what's distractions. And in my life, I realized I have this fellow I play golf with. He's very successful. He's got the Rolls Royce. He flies on the private jet. He makes a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars as his personal income every year. And he's not an athlete and he's not like a singer or anything like that. He's a businessman. He serves customers at the highest level. They pay him a lot of money and he brings the transformation to them and he's very successful. And he said something one day. He's like, because people look at him and how successful he is. And he was like, I can't understand like people who have a TV in their house and they're broke. Like, how could you sit on your couch, watch TV instead of, getting up and going and changing your life, like getting up and going to work. And like, if you don't want your situation to be where you're broke, busted, and disgusted, go do something about it. Get after it. And then he got real personal to me. And because I was like, yeah, I'm not watching TV like, whatever, The Price is Right. I used to love that show, Bob Barker, back in the day. Like if I was, anyway. But then he started talking about sports. And I was like, ooh, man. Because I used to watch a lot of football. Could watch Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, all day Saturday. I'm definitely going to watch the Buckeyes and then the other games. And then Sunday, the Cleveland Clowns come on. And then I get all mad. And then Sunday Night Football. I can spend hours and hours watching sports. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, right? Around the Cleveland Indians and the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I was thinking about how many hours I spent watching the Cleveland Indians, how many hours I've spent watching the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Cleveland Clowns, Cleveland Browns, whatever you want to call them. They make me so mad. And how much time I wasted with my eyes, with my energy, with my attention, just being a fool. So anyway, my friend who's a successful fella, he's like, don't do that. Like, and so anyway, football season hasn't started yet, but this year I'm going to set limits so that my effort and my attention and my energy is spent on being diligent hands and doing income producing activities rather than watching a bunch of other grown men in tights chase around a pigskin for way too many hours. Okay, point number 2 is if you want to have a work ethic that attracts favor, we need to be lifelong learners. So when you think you've arrived or you start to get complacent or you think you've had a level of success, 2 ways that we can get out of that trap is hanging around people more successful than us, and then listening to audiobooks from people who have more knowledge than us on a particular topic. So one thing I learned, I keep referencing my friend who's successful, but he's always listening to an audiobook, or he listens to the Bible, or he's always learning. I'm like, dude, you're 64, you're crushing it, and he acts like he's hungry to learn more. And so when we hang around people more successful than us, my friend Naylor and I, we got to go to Dallas, Texas, and we got to have dinner with Jonathan Potoshnik, who's worth over $100 million, very successful fella. And Naylor bought us dinner, which was epic. We had Wagyu and a good time. But one thing that happened as we're having dinner, I'm looking at JP's life and I'm like, man, I want to be like JP when I grow up. And I just saw like what his life was like and how successful he was. And it shook off complacency. Like we left the restaurant and I was fat and happy because I ate Wagyu and a ribeye and mashed potatoes and asparagus, and it was awesome. But I was like, I got to get to work. I want to be like JP. I want to be successful. And it comes from lifelong learning. It's the same thing. JP was he's successful. He's still learning. So if we want to have a work ethic that attracts favor and opportunity, we need to get on top of our schedule and not be squandering time. We need to be lifelong learners by hanging around people more knowledgeable than us, more successful than us, and by learning, listening to audiobooks, podcasts like this, or whatever the topic is that you want to learn more about, finding experts in those fields that you can trust and learning more about that. Number 3 is go the extra mile. So whenever we have a customer, instead of just serving them at a satisfactory level, what can we do to add a little cherry on top? What can we do to make our customers a little bit more happy, that they just smile? When they think about Paul, they're like, man, I like Paul. Man, he serves well. We want our customers to think about their experience working with us and them just to be happy because we're doing good. And then point number 4, if you want to have favor and attract opportunities, we need to be reliable. Consistency breeds trust and opens doors. Consistency breeds trust and opens doors. Well, this is an overview of chapter 2 of my new book. It's called Level Up Your Money. It's available on Amazon. We study biblical principles for financial success. So if you're following this series of the book, yesterday we talked about principle number 1. You have to keep score. We need to have a budget. We need to track our budget every month. That's a biblical principle that's going to lead to success. And then today we talked about we need to have diligent hands. The hands of the diligent bring wealth, but the lazy hands make for poverty. So, whatever that looks like in your world of getting after it, of being diligent, let's do it. Appreciate you watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And then for everyone listening on Spotify and Apple on the podcast land, Mr. Producer put the link in the show notes below where you can click on it and it will take you right over to Amazon and you can get your fresh copy of Level Up Your Money, Biblical Principles for Financial Success. They'll literally print it either in your state or in the state next door. Mine right here was printed in Orlando, Florida, made in the United States of America just a couple of days ago, and then they ship it right out to you conveniently there on Amazon. All right, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we hope to catch you on the next episode.